All right, thanks for stopping by. When I find a deal like this on a beast of a power station, I feel obligated to tell you about it. And it will jumpstart your car. Let's get into it. So you know I do all of my reviews live and on location from campsites. I don't have any wall outlets to plug into to charge up. I have to charge everything with solar. Now this one will charge up in just 1 hour from 0 to 100% if you plug it into a wall outlet. Charges at 1500 watts because this is a 1500 watt hour power station. This is the second review I've done for VTOMAN. The last one was their 600 watt hour power station, and I really love their products. They've been good machines for me in the past, and I think this one's going to be a good machine for me in the present and future. Now, one thing to take note on, if you charge this by solar panel, you need a 48 volt solar panel. Anything between 30 and 60 volts, so a 36 volt would work too. I don't have that, and they didn't send me one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire 2 of my solar panels in series, and they're both about 18 volt working voltage. So I'll have a 36 volt at least panel, and that's the way we're going to do it. So if you don't have a special 48 volt panel, you can just use 2 that you already have. Just wire them in series, and I'll show you how to do that. See, what you do is you take the positive from one panel and you plug it into the negative of the other panel. And that's the only way it can go. See, this side, it's not going to go. They have different connectors. Plug it into that one, and then the 2 that's left over would be this one and this one from this panel, and then you plug those in to your adapter, and this is MC4 to Anderson. That one would go there because it inserts into there, and this one would go into here. And then after you got those plugged up, you'll need an adapter. The adapter will be MC4 on one end and the red and black Anderson on the other. You plug that into your power station, goes in right there, and you have just created a 38 volt array because both of these are 19 volt working voltage. I would rather have 2 identical panels. These are a little different. Let's check it. I think one is 19 and one's 19.2. Let's check that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this one's 19.8 and this one is 18. Open circuit voltage, let's see, is 22 on this one. That's close enough. You don't want to get too much variation, you know. I wouldn't do like a 24 and an 18. That's just too much variation and too inefficient. I would not do that. The small one would drag the large one down, and also I don't know what it would do to the current and if it would cause overheating problems. But if you got 2 very similar ones, yeah, not a big deal. So that charged up pretty quick. You know, I started at 90%. And I didn't time it, but goodness, it didn't take long at all. I was, at one point, I was bringing in 299 watts out of a 400 watt array, because I can imagine, you know, that this one was dragging that one down a little bit. The ideal system would be get 2 of these panels. And maybe in the future I can swing that, but for right now, this will work fine. There's no, overheating issues. It charged up fast. So yeah, if you can get 300 watts out of a 400 watt system on a day, well, the clouds have been coming and going, and now it's pretty cloudy. Yeah, I was very happy with that. Now this input beside it, that round one, that's for if you want to charge off your cigarette lighter in your car. And then the one up here on top is if you want to charge off of a wall outlet. And that one will charge super fast. It'll charge at 1500 watts and it'll charge this bad boy up in 1 hour. I wish the display was a little brighter. You can barely see that, can't you? 100%. And there you can see when I turned on the USBs. There's the AC port. Oh, I could hear the inverter fire up a little bit. Yeah, you could see it go to 1 watt. That's what it took to turn that inverter on. There's your DC port. There's this little icon over here. Yeah, that's quite a machine right there. And this little compartment here, little glove box up top, that's brilliant. They all should have that. And it came with all these wires. And you don't need a charging brick with this one. It's built in. You just plug that into the wall and plug the other end right there. Nice machine. I wish they would have sent the jumper cables. I would have tested, plugged those in right there. And you can get an expansion battery that plugs in right here, and it just sits on top. It sits right here. It's just a big battery. It looks like this, but it's just battery, and you can double your capacity. I think this one's 1548 watt hour. 3000 watt output max. So you plug in like a power tool here. That would run any power tool I've ever heard of, because usually they take about 1000 watts to 1200, and this one would do 3000 watt output. Now, it wouldn't last long. It'd only last about a half an hour if you used that much. But if you used an appliance that took 1 watt, then you would get 1548 hours out of this machine before you need to recharge it. So if you had LED lights or something, you know, that would just go for days and days and days, weeks. Yeah, it is a beast. 40 pounds. There's all the specs on it. See, that is good LiFePO4 batteries. Got a QR code on it you could scan, take you to all the info. I will leave a link in the description with all the detailed specs. It'll jump start your car also if you plug it in right there. And then that's your jumper cables, they plug in right there. Unfortunately, they didn't send me any. But the jumper cable system is easy. You just plug this in and hook the jumper cables onto your car battery, and then crank your car, and it'll crank the biggest engine you can imagine, because this thing is a beast. VTOMAN. Some people call it VTOMAN, but I go with VTOMAN because it's like Roman. VTOMAN. This is a wonderful machine. Got all of these outputs on it. Of course, you got your AC outputs, and you got your cigarette lighter and your barrel outputs, but you've also got these USB-Cs, all these USB-As, and that's what you, in the modern times that we live in, we use these more than anything. I like the way they market this machine because it shows they're honest. They're not trying to scam you, because a lot of companies would call this the 3000 simply because it's 3000 watt output. But that's not being honest, because the battery capacity is 1548 watt hour, and that's what you're looking for. So they call this the FlashSpeed 1500. And I appreciate their honesty in that. I don't like companies trying to upsell their stuff and trying to say that it's something that it's not. That just annoys me. So I appreciate their honesty. Alright, check out the link in the description if you're interested. Take care, be well, and smash the bell.